Hi Pisces, hi Dreamweavers. My name is Natalie, and I'm here to remind you what your soul already knows. You were not drawn here by accident, so go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, so you can be notified the next time I upload a new video. Why not, right? If you're not here by accident, then it's just time to join in the fun. And here, you are not just healing. You're not becoming somebody new. No, 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 no. You are here retrieving who you were and all those parts of you that got lost before the world told you you had to shrink, because around here we are no longer shrinking. And I got up this morning hearing about the white sage flowers. Maybe the flowers, because I want to talk about the white sage flowers a little bit. And the white sage fires, and I had to look up because it's in the Grand Canyon, and where this fire is happening. And I feel like there's a lot of, I just had an inkling, this is just me, right? Thinking there's a lot of ancestral pain in those areas, right? A lot of land was taken, and I'm not here to talk politics because this is related to politics. But if you're here and you're on a spiritual journey, you understand. We're starting to understand how important our ancestors are to our spirituality. And when I heard that it was called the white sage fires, I was just called to go look up the white sage flower, because this is sacred. This is a flower that's sacred to the indigenous people. And I know that some of us burn sage, right? And, you've heard different things about sage, right? Like, yes, it's okay. You can burn it. You should get it from an indigenous person, and that you have to be careful when burning sage, right? Because is this sage being plucked off the land, sacred land, right? This sage is being plucked off of somebody's sacred land, somebody's ancestors, right? They may not be yours, which I think at some point we're all related somehow, but it may not be your particular ancestors, but that's someone's ancestors. And when we start playing around with herbs and flowers that we're pulling off of sacred land, we have to be careful. I know some of us out here, including myself, have burned white sage, but do you burn it with reverence and respect for the people where this flower is coming from? It's like roses, right? Did you know that most of our roses come from Mexico? Most of our roses are imported from Mexico. You can Google. I'm not lying. That's why they were talking about how the cost of flowers were going to go up. Yes, you can grow roses here in the US, but most roses, when you buy them at the store, they are imported. And I don't know why I was called to talk about this. I think it just, when I saw that there were some landmarks in the Grand Canyon that were burnt down, and everyone's upset about that, especially if you're a U.S. citizen. People are upset. It's a high traffic tourist area. I just looked up, and this is back in 2019. I don't know about today. It's like buses go there back to back to back. 6.2 million people visit the Grand Canyon. Now, I don't know, how many people would have been going there this year with so many different changes that are occurring with the way that people travel, because so many of the travelers that come to these tourist sites are coming from overseas. And I don't know. You wonder sometimes, do people realize that you're passing on sacred ground? Like I've been to Puebla, Mexico. I've been to the pyramids in Puebla. I was there. When was it? I don't know. My son played My son was playing. It was a special game. It was an All-Star or Stars of Mexico's game or something. I can't remember what it was called. But anyway, in Puebla, he was picked to be part of the American team that went to play against the Mexican football team, who actually, I have to say, kicked some butt. Yeah, they beat down the US. You would never think, like, you're like, where'd these Mexicans come from? I thought they only play soccer. Look, they got some Mexicans out there that can play football, all right? So stop with the stereotypes. And so went out there to the pyramids, and it was the first. This is, gosh, I don't know why I'm so tearful lately, but this was the first pyramid that I've ever visited, right? Like, you hear about pyramids. It's the first one that I've actually seen, and it's the first and only pyramid that there was a tourist thing where you walk through it and you can feel the souls of the people, right? And then the next, there's not, I don't know if it's a pyramid, but there's a cave in the Dominican Republic near Cabrera in the Dominican Republic that I've been to, and it's that same type of feeling. Like, they have a cave with the indigenous people, because there were indigenous people all over, like in the US, like all over the Americas. We had indigenous people, and they were here. They've been here since, I think, since 200 BC or something like that. It's like crazy. They years and years. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But I think my reminder to you guys is to remember, when we're picking up practices, if the practices that you're picking up are not rooted in your personal ancestry, and you're adopting some practices from other ancestral backgrounds, just be mindful. Understand the history. Understand why you're doing it. Understand if you should be doing it, right? Because some practices are sacred to the indigenous people. I cannot just go, or I should not just go on these sacred lands, like in the Grand Canyon and California. I think California is where white sage actually grows, but they actually called this fire the white sage fire, and I can't figure it out. If somebody knows, drop it in the comments for me why it's called the white sage fires. And white sage is very, very sacred to the indigenous people. So if you are of indigenous background and you have any information for me about white sage, I would love it. You can send me an email. My email's in the description box. You can drop a comment. If you don't want to send me an email, drop me a comment down below. Because as someone who comes from, my parents were born in Haiti, right? And I talk about the Dominican Republic. The Taína people were over there. Like this, I think they were called the Taína. So a lot of history on these lands. And a lot of times, a lot of these lands have been pillaged, taken, conquered, whatever you want to call it. And the culture and the ancestral background has been discarded or disregarded, so to speak. Just as we talk here on this channel about going back, tapping into your spirituality is all about tapping into your roots, into your ancestors, into what's for you. As you do this, you start to understand the implications, right? If you're here, you start to understand the implications of destroying someone's ancestry. Because you cannot, if you're tapping into your own at this point, you can no longer ignore the fact that others who are near you may have had their ancestry manipulated, tapped into. I don't know. I don't want to say tapped into, but destroyed, right? Or we've attempted to destroy that, the culture and the ancestry of others. And what you start to realize is it doesn't matter if you forgot where you came from. And when I say if you forgot, because when you're born, you come with that knowledge, but you forget because you assimilate into whatever culture that you're born into. But the beauty of it is that if you do decide that you are going to return to self, it's inevitable that you tap into your ancestors. So when you do that, you become more empathetic for the situation of others who have had their ancestry stripped, who have had, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether I don't consider anybody white or black, but melanated, whether you're melanated or not, there's ancestry from wherever you came from, wherever you were in Europe, wherever you were in South America, wherever you were here in the United States, wherever you were in Africa. I guess my little rant today is about respect for, once you see something, you can't unsee it, right? So once you show up in a way where you are having respect for your own ancestry, you cannot, how do you continue to disrespect someone else's? It's impossible. Not if you're really tapped in and tuned into your spirituality. And it doesn't mean that you have to adopt someone else's culture. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with someone else's culture. But I'm talking about respect. And so often when we don't understand other people, right? This is why many of us end up here into spirituality, is because so many times when people don't understand you or you don't understand other people, there's discontent, there's discord, there's hate, there's, a lot of things that leaves us in the Ten of Swords energy. And I know I'm ranting, but this is really something I wanted to talk about. I will see if I can mark the reading and you can fast forward if you're not interested. But I think if you're here tapping into your spirituality, this is really, really good to understand, because, when you come to YouTube and we start talking about, sorry guys, you start talking about ancestors and ancestry, you find that it's not just you. You find so many different people from different cultures who are here trying to tap back into who they were before the world told them they had to shrink, before the world told you who you were and who you were supposed to be. Like, who were you before that? That takes all of us here on a different path. So as we're doing that, we have to be mindful that there are many different cultures, right? Like you'll hear people here talking about hoodoo, voodoo, Santeria. You'll hear people talking about, I don't know what the religion is for the native Indians, but all the different things and herbs and rituals that people do. So we need to be mindful to understand, and it's not going to be every ritual that's for me is not going to be for you, because my rituals will tap into, first of all, my ancestry. My rituals will tap into what I'm called to, what I'm naturally called to, right? Based on my ancestry. Because like for me, my family's from Haiti, but I naturally resonated with the Indian culture, the Ayurvedic culture, right? With Ayurveda. And there's a lot behind Ayurveda. Ayurveda is not just herbs. There's healing practices. There's spirituality. They have their own deities that are part of their culture, and you'll find that all these other cultures have their deities that are part of the culture. And before you go any further and tell me you believe in God and we shouldn't be worshiping anything else other than God, I believe that all cultures worship God. Honestly, you will find that all cultures, just like if you're Catholic, right? I was raised Catholic. And so all cultures have their version of the Virgin Mary, let's say. In Africa, right? Yemoya might be considered the Virgin Mary. Like in voodoo, it might be something else. In the Ayurveda, there's a different deity that aligns with that. So before we judge, because the other thing that happens with spirituality as we tap into all these other things and these deities, right? Like that we should be connecting with our higher self first and foremost, I believe, right? And I consider any deities, they're like ancestors, right? That support you on your journey. That's the way I look at it, right? I don't look at a deity as my God. I look at any deities that are out there as part of your ancestry. And so, but you just need to understand what you're getting into. That's all. Not just latch onto a culture or that culture's deity just because like that deity speaks to abundance. Like I think in Ayurveda, Lakshmi is the deity of abundance. It's good to know, right? But if I don't understand the culture, right? Shiva. What does Shiva do? I'm familiar with some of them, but this is not my culture. So there's a lot to learn, and there's nothing wrong about learning about these deities, but just understand where you're connected to. I hope this is making sense, but that's what remembering who you are is all about, right? Because just because you were born in one culture, we talk about many past lives. So you may be connected to different cultures. Queen of Wands. Right? And that's the beauty. That's why when you get tuned in, tapped in, and you start tapping into your ancestry, why do you see that so many people they start to glow? Their beauty is accentuated in different ways that's unexplainable. And yes, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but they just naturally have a glow. They have an attractiveness that people that are tapped in and tuned into their spirituality. That this glow up that you have when you become tapped in and tuned in and connected and start to realize that you are part of that you're not one, you are an individual, but you are part of a collective. This glow up demands structure. This glow up demands that you be fair, that you be upright, upstanding. The glow up comes with responsibility. I was going to turn the camera, but maybe I will. So I can finish this reading. It's true. So, and you start to realize that your glow up was never about you, because without the glow up didn't happen without you tapping into your ancestry, without tapping into who you are. You were retrieving all those parts of you, having reverence for your higher self and your higher power. That's why you're not alone on this journey. Even when you feel, look at that more, Knight of Wands. a lot of fire energy. This is deep down. This is like your root. Like this is, I feel this like root chakra energy. Like this is where your roots, right? Where your, this is where your true action starts to come from, because before you're tapped in and tuned in, your action is kind of scattered. But when you have directed, guided, and focused action, you have success. You're energized. How are you energized? You're energized through your connection to your ancestors. Yeah, I didn't really, wow. I didn't know if I was going to do a reading or not. I was just coming to talk about, starting off with Sage. I just knew I felt, I look at wands. Look, Ace of Wands. Your creativity, your power increases. Your power doesn't increase because you're alone, right? Your power, your again, root chakra energy, your creativity, your ability to create things comes from this connection. You can use it for good, you can use it for bad. That's a choice too. But see, we wonder why when people start to use this energy for bad, right? Your glow up goes away. Things get taken away from you. And you can see that right now in the media, in the news, whatever, all over. That when this energy is used incorrectly, you lose touch. You lose touch of your ancestors of the highest light, spirits of the highest light. The light starts to go away, the glow up goes away. And I'm going to switch the camera here because I want you to see these cards and what they look like. So I have the Queen of Wands here, and then I have the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is facing the Queen of Wands, right? The Knight of Wands is facing the Queen of Wands, and then we have the Ace of Wands. I look at this like, as you have your glow up, as you have your connection, it's like your ancestors are running to bring you this Ace of Wands, to bring you this creativity, because they can see that you're going to do good with it. And again, Eight of Wands, like what the hell with the root chakra energy? This is all, today, this conversation is all about your root chakra. It's all about your connection to self, your higher power, and your ancestors. And with the Eight of Wands in reverse here, right? Eight of Wands upright is fast forward movements. So you may be feeling right now, right? You have the Ace of Wands in your hands, but you may be feeling that things are slowing down for you, and they're not. Spirit wants you to stop, to slow down and understand the connections that you've made, to understand and appreciate the glow up that you've had. the connection that you have with your ancestors, where they are bringing, you have this flow of energy back and forth with your ancestors, where you are getting your energy from, your creativity, your power to create, to procreate if you want to. And to also look and see how when you misuse this energy, that wand energy, that, right? You know that, you know what they say that the wand is, right? When you misuse this wand energy, how it destroys. As you're having this glow up, you can see that this wand energy isn't just about feeling good, right? It can feel good. There's nothing wrong with it feeling good, but it's not just about feeling good. It's about what you're creating, and if what you're creating is going to leave a legacy like the one that you've tapped into to have your glow up. This was definitely channeled today. The Three of Pentacles, the collaborations that you're having for creativity, your collaboration with your spirit team, and the ancestors, the strength that this has brought you. Right? The infinite strength, right? That you can see, like this card is an 8, right? It has the infinity sign. So energy just keeps going back and forth. It rotates, right? So how the energy from your ancestors has rotated back to you, and how you will rotate that positivity, right? Because negativity can be too. That's why when we do a reading or we tap in, we want to connect to energies of the highest light, right? Because you can also connect to energies of lower vibrations if you're not careful. So we need to understand what is high vibrational and what is low vibrational. But once you've tapped in to this energy, that you start to realize that your infinite strength is coming from your ancestors, and that the infinite strength of your ancestors to come will come from your energy. And that how are you going to use this energy that you have right now to create a path where you're leaving something high vibrational for those who are coming, strength for those who are coming, that they can tap into your strength. This is really powerful. And it's really ironic that this all started with this white sage fire, and I got to thinking, like, wow, everybody, people are upset because they built something in the 1800s that have burned down, but that land was there way before the 1800s. Somebody was living there. There was energy there before the 1800s. That's not to downplay what was lost. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying that just because someone came and they built something there in the 1800s doesn't mean that the energy, the infinite energy that was there, goes away. It's still there. It's still there for people to tap into. So let's not forget it. some of you might say, oh yeah, you know what, there's bad things that happens on those. Of course, what did I say? There's positive and there's negative. Nothing is 100% positive. You get to tap into the high vibration or the low vibrational energies. But we all know, because before you got here, before you reached this spot, you were tapping into low vibrational energies too. So now you can understand why others are tapping into that. Because it feels good, right? It's the feel good energy, whether it's alcohol or the whatever, the bad behavior, the whatever it is, that devil energy. But then you look and you say, oh wow, it's that same energy that creates good. How do I use it that way? How do I tap into that? Your strength comes in understanding both sides. That's why your glow up is about you tapping into your shadow. Because you don't get this strength without understanding your shadow. You get what's false strength. You can pretend, but how long can you pretend? And eventually people will see it for what it is. I don't know. I feel like I said a lot already. I feel like I said a lot already for this reading. I don't know. It's just food for thought for you this morning. Food for thought. You take it, you leave it. You could take it or leave it. You know, it's a lot of, this. Look at this, King of Wands. I am going to turn the camera around because I want you to see this. Like, this is insane. I feel like Spirit wants you to, now that you've moved into this new timeline, Spirit wants you to, with the Eight of Wands in reverse, Spirit wants you to slow down and understand what you've tapped into. And understand that it's not everybody who can tap into this. We talked about the Wands creation and the King of Wands, Queen of Wands, King of Wands is here. So you've tapped into that happy family, the strength, the creation that brings the abundance. And this is when you start to realize that I don't need to see all the pentacles on the table, right? The Ten of Pentacles, Ace, all these oh, look at the, I don't need to see all the pentacles on this table to understand that this is your infinite energy that's bringing in that the abundance is here because the strength is here. You are grounded, you are rooted. Your root chakra is balanced, that you could bring in your counterpart. You understand the use of that Ace of Wands. You know, to not just throw it around anywhere and everywhere. You understand the importance of using that energy in a positive way. As this Knight of Wands is facing you, the Queen of Wands, it's like you will have people coming towards you also to understand how to do what you did. Like I said, like you're going to be leaving this legacy of infinite positive energy for future generations. Like you are going to be the ancestor. They're going to be looking to you one day. That's how I see this Knight of Wands. They're going to be looking to you one day to figure out what actions they need to take to reconnect to their roots as they work through their shadows, because we all come here to work through shadows. This is your star. When that Queen of Wands came out, this is that star power I felt. That connection to your star. I heard someone say something about your star chakra. You can look that up. I don't know why that I just thought of that. I don't know a lot about the star chakra, but it's the chakra supposedly above that connects you to all your superpowers, that connects you to the highest light, that connects you to who you're meant to be in this world, and how people will see you in this world, because you will be seen. Oh, no doubt you will be seen. I'm going to turn this camera around so I can close this reading out and pull a soul's truth for you. But I want you to look at these cards closely. Hey, I am back. All right, so I hope you can see these cards. Oh, let me flip it around. All right, I think that's better now. And by the way, I kept saying that we were talking about the root chakra, and we're not. We're talking about your solar plexus and your sacral chakra, which is associated with passion, energy, and action. So we're not talking about the root chakra. I don't know why I kept saying the root. I just feel for some, maybe there's a reason why, because I feel all this passion, all this the sacral chakra energy specifically, and the solar plexus chakra energy, which is your passion and your action, grounds you eventually and leads to the pentacles. And I feel like that's why the star card is here, right? Because the star card is you being connected with your surroundings, the people, being seen, right? Bringing in your generational wealth. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I made that correction, because I know somebody's going to correct me. So it is the solar plexus and the sacral chakra. I don't know why I kept saying the root, but you know, your root chakra are the pentacles. But I feel when you have all this majestic energy here, Pisces, you can't help but feel rooted. Right? When you're taking the right actions, when you're, leading to stardom. To me, it's root chakra energy at that point, right? But it takes that, you have to use your sacral chakra to get you there, right? And so when you're using that sacral chakra in the wrong way, in a low vibrational way, you can't be rooted. This energy here has bypassed all the pentacle cards and gone straight to the star. Which says to me, not just are you grounded, but there's a spiritual grounding also. There's you're grounded here on earth, and then you're grounded in the spiritual also. Very, very elevated energy. Let me pull a soul's truth. Drop me a comment. I really want to know what you guys think about this reading and how you're feeling right now. I said yesterday in one of my readings, I said that after tears of release come tears of joy, I think. And that's what I'm feeling today, because I'm feeling so much like that, so much reverence that you're feeling right now for your connection. To your ancestors, in the connection that you have, the legacy that you're going to leave for those that come after you, the strength. You're leaving energy here, not just things, not just the pentacles, because didn't really see the pentacle. There's no pentacles here. I feel like you're just leaving this energy, this sacral energy, and this action-oriented energy for the next generation to pull from. Life force energy. This is life force energy that you've retrieved, that you are leaving for generations to come, for them to come back and pull from you. You see that, right? They're going to come and pull from you. All right. This card says, what if it was easy? Soul's truth. I'm going to flip it around here and have you look at it. All right, so I had to grab my glasses. It doesn't have to be hard. Call in the universe, the stars and the angels and all their powers. Find a solution. Would you take the next step if it were easy? It's time to expect ease. Call in grace and receive guidance. You are supported. Today's soul's action. List 10 possible ideals for your soul's current calling. Lean into ease. It's here. You just have to say yes to it. I love this. I feel like just when you thought you had arrived, like just when you thought you had crossed that threshold, just when you thought that you were on the other side of this timeline, Spirit is saying, it has just begun. And now there's no more struggle now, right? Infinite, the strength is here. You have the strength of your ancestors, the infinite power of your ancestors, and you can do it with ease. You don't need a lot of speed. It doesn't have to be fast. It just has to be simple. Work smarter, not harder. And you find that when you work with the energies, when you work with your higher power, when you work with your higher self, when you tap into all of that and retrieve all those parts of you, because they're all parts of you. Your ancestors are parts of you. You are part of them. And so when you retrieve all of that, this star that you are comes with ease. It comes with ease. When you remain high vibrational, it comes with ease. It doesn't mean that we're human. It doesn't mean that you don't ever tap into that low vibrational energy. But you do it less and less, and you'll stay in that energy a lot less because you will find that it doesn't serve you. You will find that it doesn't serve your higher calling, that it doesn't serve your purpose here in what you're doing. And it's not just about recognition, although you will have the recognition, but it's about your recognition of who you are. And that's where the star comes from, not from just other people recognizing you. And they will recognize you, but it comes from your recognition of who you are. And once you know who you are, you will not sit in low vibrational energy, not for long. You might tap in a little bit because you're like, oh, that feel, I remember what that felt like. And then you're going to remember what it felt like not to be connected to your higher self, not to be connected to your ancestors. And that doesn't feel good. Listen, Pisces, I hope this message found you well. I'm closing out this reading now. We're closing out this reading completely, and I don't usually hit that at the end, ring the bells at the end, but there's a lot of your energy here, and you need to stay grounded, keep it safe. And maybe white sage came up today because maybe you need to, if you connect with white sage, maybe you need to get some white sage and connect and protect your energy. Protect this energy, guard this energy with your life, because it is your life. This is your life force, and this is the life force of your ancestors, and this is the life force that you're leaving for generations to come. All right, Pisces, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I claim it for you, so drop a fish, a heart, a wand in the comments and claim it for yourself, and let's keep weaving this dream together. I will see you in the next one.